Okay. So that's my cue to say good evening. This is a special night with respect to the Gelugpa primal guru Lama Tsongkhapa. Maybe primal guru is Shakyamuni, but Lama Tsongkhapa founded the Gelugpa tradition. And this is, I believe, the anniversary of when he passed away. We say passed into parinirvana. Well, different meanings of that. He took the aspect of stop. No. Someone say? Okay. He took the aspect of stopping breathing, and just before that, he had made, I believe, 32 inner offerings. Is that right, John?
I don't know.
To all the deities of the body mandala of Guhya Samaja, which was considered to be the king of tantras. Lama Tsongkhapa had three particular yidams that the Gelugpas cherish. They call Sang De Jiksum. Sang means Guhya, so it's short for Guhya Samaja or Sangwe Duba, and Jig is short for Jigje, meaning Yamantaka, and De is short for Demchok, Chakra Sambara. So those are the three main deities. In the tree of assembled gurus, those are three of the main gurus near the three of the main yidams around Lama Tsongkhapa. I think the last one behind him is Vajra, which is where the teachings on inner fire or tumo are especially enshrined. So one of his main practices, it's said that one of his main practices was Guhya Samaja, because he made an inner offering to each of the deities of the body mandala of Guhya Samaja just before he passed away. So we're going to commemorate this night today, which the Gelugpas called Ganden Ngamcho. You've heard of Ganden, right? Ganden tradition. Ganden means the Gelugpa tradition. There's a monastery called Ganden that Lama Tsongkhapa founded. And Nga means 5. Ch means offering. So it's sort of the offering of the 25th, even though it doesn't have the word 20 in the name. Nga, it's pronounced ngam, well, like an M at the end, because the word offering, ch, has a prefix, like what we would say M in English, which is silent. And so it's sort of sounded on the previous syllable. So instead of saying ngachu, it's say ngamchu. It's one of those things that sometimes people don't know. So this is in commemoration of Lama Tsongkhapa, as we imagine him as emanating as our personal guru, whether it be His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or Lama Tsongkhapa Rinpoche, or Geshe Sulga, or some other Lama. The text that we're reciting we will be reciting was composed by the first Panchen Lama. Some of you know that because you were here when I taught the glance meditation at the end of it several months ago. Was it already, say, 6 months or something like that? If you'd like to see those, I think they may still be up on YouTube. Explanation of all those verses over many weeks. So this was composed by the first Panchen Lama, who didn't have that name at the beginning. His 3 previous predecessors were recognized as his previous incarnations. And so later he was given the name 4th Panchen Lama. So sometimes in some of the texts it says composed by the first Panchen Lama. Sometimes it says by the 4th Panchen Lama. It's the same person, just sort of in retrospect. So what we've done with the kindness of the Dharma students at Shantideva, we've extracted from the FPMT book on Lama Chöpa, which had many other prayers, which would take us, and we would be up till 2 a.m. finishing all of that. We just taken out the Lama Chöpa prayers. They're in the correct order, even though the first verse says LC2. You might think, oh, there's a mistake. Where's LC1? Lama Chöpa 1. This is actually the first verse that the Panchen Lama wrote, but sometimes in the Gelugpa tradition, they start with another verse, which you'll see a little bit later, generating oneself as a deity after LC6, which is called LC1, but that wasn't how it was written by the Panchen Lama. So what we're going to do is, after a couple moments of silent meditation, quieting our mind, I will sort of lead us in reciting the verses of this in English. Depending on how people feel, we may do the Tsog offering in Tibetan, which is sort of a tradition because some of the people here may not have had tantric initiations. And although the translation is there, you can read it, sort of maybe auspicious to keep the something like secrecy or something like that, to recite those verses in Tibetan. We may say some of them in English. So sit comfortably. Think this is a day in which our virtuous activities have greater impact. The karmic imprint they leave in our mind is multiplied. So I think this is a great opportunity. Say, just watch your breathing for a few moments. Try to recognize it. Once you have recognized your breathing, you've localized it, try to hold it with mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the mental qualities of the mind, mental consciousness that's remembers, keeps in mind something which has already been recognized, something that's already been known. So once you've watched the breathing, then hold it single-pointedly to the exclusion of everything else, relaxing your body and letting go of other extraneous thoughts. May take you a while to recognize that you're multitasking. Some of your mind is being invested in some other thoughts. So let go of those other thoughts. Just focus on recognizing when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out naturally. in many of the Buddha's discourses, the sutras, they'll begin by mentioning the Shakyamuni, the Buddha, was out for alms. He came back to where he was staying, usually the monastery, washed his feet, sat down, and placed his mindfulness on the breathing in front, which is what we're doing right now. If you've been able to focus your mind a little, relaxing it a little, now let go of your attention to the breathing and instead focus on the elusive mental consciousness. I say elusive because it doesn't have a shape or color. It's not material. It's that within which we think and plan, remember, judge. Thoughts of the past, plans about the future, judgments, observations about the present. Maybe noticing that content of your mental consciousness. Recognize that those thoughts are arising, emerging within what the Buddha called the clear light nature of our mind, conventional clear light nature. The fact that the mind does not hinder thoughts arising, or doesn't, not like molasses that keeps them from escaping, keeping a fly caught in its stickiness. The mind is completely unobstructing to thoughts. This is not something that has a particular appearance or color, although it's called like a space-like conventional nature. It's also recognized as the conventional Buddha nature or developmental Buddha nature. It's something that's known with wisdom, with prajna, and with gnosis or special wisdom, jnana. This is something that's always with us. Here we're just talking about the conventional Buddha nature, not the ultimate Buddha nature of the emptiness of the mind. Think that the fact that we can meditate on this right now is due to the fact that we have a life of leisure and endowment, perfect human rebirth, which is rare and incredibly meaningful and transitory. Every second we're as though falling through space toward our eventual death. Think that this evening I'm going to try to use this short-lived life of leisure and endowment for a very important purpose, great meaning, to get closer to achieving the state of enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. All living beings have been our mother numberless times, have been depthlessly kind over numberless lifetimes in the past. There's no sentient being who has not been our mother numberless times. And they're all equal with us in wanting to be happy and to be free of suffering. Knowing how much we abhor suffering and would like to be happy all the time, never being satisfied with it. Try to transfer that sense of aim toward all sentient beings, working for to illuminate their torment entirely and to place them in a state of everlasting bliss of enlightenment. To do that, I myself must become enlightened. How could someone who's not enlightened lead others there flawlessly? Taking that as a special point, I must achieve enlightenment for the sake of all mother sentient beings. Make this motivation. I'm going to participate this evening in offering to the spiritual guide, the Guru, the Lama, for the purpose of accumulating merit and wisdom to achieve enlightenment for their sake, for the sake of all sentient beings. And then with that motivation, we'll begin. If you don't have the text available to you, you can listen to my words, the others that are, when I recite in English, or you can look in the comments. I think, Snehi, you said you put in the comment somewhere a link. So I've got my iPad here next to the screen. So I've got it on PDF on that. Okay. So the first verse is labeled LC2 in this version. From the state of an exalted, white, virtuous mind, I and all my old mother sentient beings, my mothers of the past, who are equal in extent to space, from this moment until our supreme enlightenment, I lead them in going for refuge to the Guru and the three rare sublime ones, the Triratna, the three jewels. Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Actually, it should be Nama Sanghaya. Namo means homage. It's not the usual words you hear in the Pali Canon when they say Buddhanam Gacchami. Gacchami means going, but this has the same import. So the third last time, imagine light coming from the merit field, Shakyamuni and all the deities in front of you, purify your negativities and bringing blessings of realization. Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Nama Sanghaya. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will become a guru deity and place all sentient beings in the supreme state of being a guru deity. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will become a guru deity. It means I will become enlightened. This is like our bodhicitta motivation. And place all sentient beings in the supreme state of that enlightenment, where one manifests as an enlightened being, Sambhogakaya Nirmanakaya, the sense of deity, which is in essence a guru to all sentient beings. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will become a guru deity and place all sentient beings in the supreme state of a guru deity. And then another verse that is emphasizing to do it quickly through the path of highest yoga tantra in this very lifetime. Special bodhicitta. I will free, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, this is LC5, I will quickly in this very life, actualize the state of a primordial Buddha guru deity. I will free all mother sentient beings from suffering and lead them to this great bliss of Buddhahood. For that reason, therefore, I will practice the profound path of Guru Deity Yoga. We can just recite that once. Then comes generating oneself as the deity. If you have received and practiced highest yoga tantra, you can imagine this. Otherwise, you can imagine just going to the clear light nature of your mind. From within a state of great bliss, I rise as a guru deity. From my body, masses of light emanate into the 10 directions, blessing the world and the beings within, so that all is perfectly placed in the quality of utter infinite purity. And then blessing the offerings. There may be some offerings. Certainly there are on Jennifer's altar. You can see there in the upper left-hand corner. Maybe Jackie's also. Pure clouds of outer, inner, and secret offering substances pervade the reaches of space, earth, and sky, spreading out inconceivably. In nature, they are transcendental wisdom, emanation of our wisdom. In aspect, inner offerings and the individual offering substances, they function as enjoyments of the 6 senses to generate the special transcendental wisdom of bliss and emptiness. I should have preceded that with this blessing of Om Ahum. We can say it afterwards also. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Then, once we've imagined the offerings, either that we've placed or that we've just imagined, that's sufficient, imagining them, then we visualize the field of assembled gurus, the field of merit, the Tsog, they say, to whom we will offer these. Verse 9. In the vast space of indivisible bliss and emptiness, amidst billowing clouds of Samanta Bhadra offerings, at the crest of a wish-granting tree adorned with leaves, flowers, and fruit, is this precious lion throne ablaze with gems, on which is a wide lotus, sun, disk, and full moon disk. On them sits my root guru, who is kind in 3 ways. In nature, he or she is the nature of all Buddhas, while in aspect, a saffron-robed monastic with 1 face, 2 arms, and a radiant white smile. Their right hand is in the gesture of expounding the Dharma. The left hand is in meditative equipoise, holding an alms bowl full of nectar. You wear the 3 lustrous saffron robes of a monastic, and your head is crowned by a golden pundit's hat. In your heart sits the all-pervading Lord, powerful Vajradhara. So the guru, someone we see, that we're talking about sort of in his own mind, at his heart chakra, he's actually emanating these tantric aspect of Buddhahood, Vajradhara. Vajradhara has 1 face and 2 arms and a blue body, holding Vajra and bell, embracing Vajradhatu Ishvari. Vajradhatu, not TV, Vajradhatu Ishvari, while delighting in the play of simultaneous bliss and emptiness. They are adorned with jewel ornaments of many designs and are clothed in garments of heavenly silk. Further adorned with the signs and exemplifications, the 32 major signs and the 80 minor marks, radiant with countless light rays, you sit in the Vajra position, you Vajradhara sit in the Vajra position encircled by a 5-colored rainbow. Your pure aggregates are the 5 Sugatas. Well, this also refers to Lama Tsongkhapa in front. So he is adorned with the signs and exemplifications and so forth. Your 4 elements, the earth, fire, water, air elements, are the 4 wisdom mothers. Your sources, channels, sinews, and joints, actual bodhisattvas. The hairs of your pores are 21,000 arhats. Your limbs are wrathful protectors. Your light rays are directional guardians and secret yakshas, while worldly beings are cushions for your feet. This is, in essence, explaining in a very gross way, body mandala of Guhya Samkhya. Surrounding you, in their respective order, sit the direct and lineage gurus, as in the tanka behind me. Yidams, these are meditational deities, hosts of mandala deities, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, heroes, and dakinis, encircled by an ocean of dharma protectors. The 3 Vajras, it is the body Vajra, the speech Vajra, the mind Vajra, mark your 3 doors. From the syllable whom, at your heart, hooked light rays radiate, drawing forth wisdom beings from their natural abode, from the abode of emptiness, where the Buddha's mind always resides, to become inseparable and set. So that completes the visualization, and then some verses of inviting, sort of formally stating it in words, source of complete goodness and excellence throughout the 3 times, root and lineage gurus, idams, 3 rare sublime ones. That's the Tibetan way of referring to the triple gem. 3 rare and sublime ones. Heroes, dakinis, and hosts of dharma protectors and guardians, by the power of your compassion, come forth and abide steadfast. This verse was added later after the Panchen Lama composed the text. Though phenomena are free of any inherent coming and going, you deities, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, so forth, arise through your enlightened activity of wisdom and loving compassion, according to the disposition of varied disciples, Holy refuge saviors, please come forth with your retinue. So this is meditating on the fact that it's not as though the Buddhas that we're asking to come and inhabit our visualization have to come from somewhere. There is no inherently existent coming and going. Then this mantra, requesting them in Sanskrit, Om Guru Buddha Bodhisattva Dharma Pala Sapariwari Ehyahi Ja Hum Vam Ho. Wisdom beings that we've invited and the commitment beings that we've visualized become non-dual. And the essence, the most important part of the puja is the production of the 7 limbs of offering of puja. Puja literally means to please. So although some of the offerings, some of the limbs involve offerings, like you might think, oh, the Buddha will be pleased with a big bowl of yogurt or chocolate chip ice cream or something. He or she is pleased by our creating merit. So the first verse is of prostrations. Your compassion grants even the sphere of great bliss, enlightenment, the supreme state of the 3 kayas in an instant. It means in one short lifetime. Guru with the jewel-like body, Vajra holder, I prostrate at your lotus feet. This is prostration to the Guru as emanation of the Sambhogakaya, which of the various bodies of the Buddha, sometimes is considered to be most important because it is that body that represents the speech of the Buddha, Sambhogakaya, and is the most precious thing of the Dharma are the teachings exemplified for us that is given first. Then as an emanation body, Nirmanakaya, the transcendental wisdom of all the infinite conquerors, supreme skillful means appearing in whatever way that subdues, sporting in the guise of a saffron-robed monastic, holy refuge savior, I prostrate at your feet. So two kinds of bodies, physical bodies, Rupakaya. Then Nirmanakaya, which is the mind, the omniscient mind of the Buddha. You eliminated all faults and their imprints from their very root and are a treasury of infinite precious qualities. You are the sole source, Dharmakaya, of benefit and bliss without exception. Perfect, pure Guru, I prostrate at your feet. And then a verse to the Guru as manifestation of the triple gem. Teacher of gods. It means teachers of gods and men, but it says teacher along with the gods, means that you teach humans and the gods, embodiment of all Buddhas, source of the 84,000 holy dharmas. You stand out amongst the whole host of Aryas. Kind Guru, I prostrate to you. To the Guru's dwelling in the 3 times, this is to the Guru as a manifestation of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. To the Guru's dwelling in the 3 times in the 10 directions, the 3 precious sublime ones, 3 jewels, and all worthy of homage, with faith, conviction, and an ocean of lyric praise, I prostrate, manifesting as many bodies as atoms of the universe. So that's the first limb of prostration of the 7 limbs. Then of the offerings, they're divided into different waves. First, the outer offerings. Refuge, Savior, perfect, pure Guru, together with your retinue, I present you oceans of clouds of various offerings. From spacious, well-arranged vessels, radiant and precious, flow forth 4 streams of purifying nectar. So imagine offering water to the feet, to the mouth, to the feet, water to nectar to wash the mouth, and sprinkling water to cool. I kind of think of it like an air conditioner. From spacious, next verse. On trees, excellently spread out individually and as garlands, beautiful flowers fill the earth and sky. Here it says on trees, but it kind of means on stems, flowers that have like arranged with stems, petals falling through the sky, filling the earth and sky. So you keep in mind as you make these offerings, you imagine them, the Buddha's omniscient mind knows what you are visualizing with effort, with faith. You know, or have some faith or hope that the Buddha can perceive these. The Buddha perceives everything with the taste of bliss and emptiness. So be assured that even visualizing offerings creates enormous amount of merit. Blue summer clouds of Vaidurya smoke. Vaidurya is like the stone lapis lazuli, perhaps, from fragrant incense billow in the heavens. So incense clouds, even forming auspicious signs in the sky, the infinite knot, the Dharma chakra, vase, and so forth. Joyfully dancing light from suns, moons, jewels, and flaming lamps dispel the darkness of the billion-fold world systems. So imagine all the lights of the stars, the suns, and that are called suns because they have planets, all the light from jewels, radioactive substances that luminesce and so forth. All of that dispels the darkness in the worlds, eliminating fear of beings that are, cautious when it is dark. Perfumes imbued with fragrance of camphor, sandalwood, and saffron collect from everywhere into great lakes. So not just a little bowl of perfumed water, but great lakes of various kinds of natural fragrances. Nourishing food and drink of 100 flavors, delicacies of gods and humans, piled high as Mount Meru. All the delicious foods that you enjoy, those things that are more humble, like rice and dal in the Indian tradition or Tibetan sampa and so forth. Immense quantities of food, which the Buddha, which you recognize, maybe you can even imagine the taste of them and so forth, and the appearance. The Buddha realizes what you're visualizing and experiences that with bliss and void. Pleasing melodies from an endless variety of various instruments fill the 3 realms. So often at this point, there would be the Tibetan flutes and drums and bells and so forth, damarus, that would be played, imagining creating those sounds that the Buddha experiences with bliss. Then offering of the 5 sense objects. Actually, there's a way to understand this as not just 5, but 6, meaning when we say 5 sense objects, objects of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, but also objects that are exclusive to just the mind. Goddesses of outer and inner desirable objects, holding symbols of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, as well as the mind, pervade all directions. Then a verse of mandala offering that I enjoy very much. Mount Meru and the 4 continents, the 7 precious substances, precious wheel, precious jewel, Koro Rinpoche, Norbo Rinpoche, Sumo Rinpoche, precious queen, precious minister, precious elephant, precious horse, precious minister, and the 7 secondary precious objects that the Chakravartin emperors also have, and so forth. Perfect environments and beings that give rise to complete joy. Great treasure of all that gods and humans use and desire. I present 1,000,000 times over with a mind of pure faith to the supreme field, the treasure of compassion, the refuge savior. You can imagine your own extent of world, maybe this world that which you own, everything that you have some karmic connection to, the whole environment. 1,000,000,000 times over, imagine that is experienced by the mind of the omniscient Buddha manifesting as a guru. Sometimes when we offer mandala, we say Om Idam or Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Nir Tayami. You don't have to say that mantra, although if you say it, certain verses, that's often done. To please you, perfect pure guru, I offer a delightful garden which enchants everyone with 1,000-petaled lotuses growing on the shore of a wish-granting ocean, offerings actually arranged and mentally emanated, arising from the virtuous right actions of samsara and nirvana, it says existence and peace, beautified with all kinds of flowers, the worldly and transcendent virtues of our 3 doors, body, speech, and mind, of myself and others, emitting samantabhadra offerings, 100,000 fragrances, and laden with the fruits of the 3 trainings, the 2 stages, and the 5 paths. So imagining this precious garden as physical manifestations of our own practice and the practice of our gurus, our peers, our companions, our Dharma brothers and sisters, all of them, all of those 100,000 prostrations that someone did, or mandala offerings, or offerings that we made, or are controlling our mind, all of them manifested as this precious garden is called offering of practice. When Lama Chöpa comes to see the Dalai Lama every year, the first thing he does is offer the practice of the FPMT. Maybe he visualizes, but he mentions to His Holiness all the practices that are done to bring delight to his guru's mind. Then inner offering and offering of tea. I offer a drink of Chinese tea, saffron bright, imbued with delicious scents and rich with 100 flavors. The 5 hooks, 5 lamps, and so forth are purified, transformed, and increased into an ocean of nectar. The secret offering. I offer illusion-like wisdom mothers, wisdom consorts of youthful splendor. Doesn't have to be, if your guru is a female, you can offer dakas, men in beautiful consorts to bring about some special tantric realization of bliss. Slender, skilled in the 64 arts of love, a host of beautiful and handsome messenger dakas and bikinis, field-born, mantra-born, and innate or simultaneously born. Offering of suchness, which means offering of emptiness. So to be able to do this, you have to have some kind of sense of emptiness that you imagine and that the Buddha, you understand the Buddha perceives, and as he or she perceives everything with great bliss. This is called the offering of suchness. Unobstructed, great transcendental wisdom, simultaneous with bliss. The sphere which is free from elaboration, it's all mental thoughts. The nature of all phenomena, spontaneous and indivisible, beyond thought and expression, supreme ultimate bodhicitta, I offer you. And then finally, offering of medicine and service to cure the 404 diseases caused by the afflictions, the delusions, kleshas. I offer all kinds of wholesome medicine. And I offer myself as a servant to please you. Please keep me in your service as long as space endures. If you can think like that, everything you're doing is in service to the primordial guru. Everything that you do will be virtuous, will create virtuous karma. Then revealing our faults, confession. Whatever non-virtuous actions, negative actions I have done since beginningless time, those actions that I've caused others to do, or those actions in which I have rejoiced, negative actions of others, before those having great compassion, I confess them with regret and vow never to commit them again. One of the very important limbs. Then limb of rejoicing, which Lama Chöpa Rinpoche spends often many, many minutes in silent meditation because it's the quickest way to accumulate virtuous karma. Though all phenomena lack the characteristic of inherent existence, we rejoice from the depths of our hearts in the dreamlike bliss and joy of all ordinary beings and Arya beings, and in every virtue that has ever arisen. The meaning here is that we're rejoicing in the actions that bring about dreamlike bliss and joy. They don't exist inherently, truly, but still they bring solace to sentient beings. So we rejoice in the actions that bring them about. Simply rejoicing in the happiness of others is not the main seven-limb rejoicing. That's more akin to what we call loving kindness, wanting others to be happy, rejoicing in their happiness. Then requesting the guru to turn the wheel of Dharma, to teach. As is said here, visualize numberless replicas of yourself in the form of Brahma, which is the deity of the form realm that offered Buddha a Dharma chakra when Shakyamuni was teaching. each offering beautiful 1,000-spoked golden Dharma wheels. If you have an actual small Dharma wheel, hold it up in your hands while reciting the verse and doing the visualization. Or you can make the same mudra that we do in the offering the mandala. Imagine it to be a 1,000-spoked Dharma wheel. Please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma from 100,000 billowing clouds of perfect wisdom and compassion within your Dharmakaya mind, so that the jasmine garden of benefit and bliss of infinite migratory beings, transmigratory beings, may be born, abide for a long time, and grow. Then requesting the Guru to remain for a long time, their life be stable. And here you can offer numberless replicas of yourself, offering beautiful lion thrones adorned with a double Vajra, like in the thrones when the Dalai Lama, Lama Chöpa, and others sit on. There's often a we call variegated Vajra, sort of Vajra one direction, Vajra vertical, symbolizing immutability. Your Vajra body is subject to neither birth nor death, but is a vessel of the mighty King unification. Please abide forever according to our wishes, not passing beyond sorrow until samsara ends. Sincerely thinking in this way, wishing in this way, aspiring in this way, helps to purify the negative karma of ignoring the gurus in previous lives. It actually is one of the great ways to elongate your own lifespan also. And finally, the seventh limb of dedication. I dedicate the merits of white virtue thus created, that we may be inseparably guided in all our lives by perfect, pure gurus who are kind in all three ways, and thereby attain the unified state of Vajradhara. To be wishing, dedicating these merits, not ripen randomly in some trivial happiness in the future, but they become the cause of always being guided by our primordial guru from life to life, leading us to the state of enlightenment. And making requests by recalling the guru's qualities. So thinking of the guru as the Vinaya master, the master that gives ordinations and teaches about the laws of karma and so forth. Source of qualities, great ocean of moral discipline, treasury brimming with jewels of much hearing. He's heard many, many teachings. Master, second Buddha, clad in saffron. Elder, Vinaya holder, I make this request to you. Holder of the Vinaya means upholding the monastic vows and the vows of the lay practitioners, male and female practitioners, the 24-hour vows of the Hinayana, the 24 Mahayana vows, holder of the Vinaya. Then requesting the guru in his guise as a Mahayana guru. You have the 10 qualities which are suitable for one to teach the path of those gone to bliss. Lord of Dharma, representative of all the conquerors, Mahayana virtuous friend. I make these requests to you. So this refers to the 10 qualities that are said to be, if had, are said to make one suitable to be a Mahayana spiritual friend. Having, we say, Sheinen Dua Shiwan Neshawa. someone whose mind is subdued by the practice of discipline, Vinaya, who's peaceful due to the practice of concentration, and whose mind is totally pacified through the understanding of the wisdom of emptiness, who has more qualities than the disciples. Lakpa Sunje, who's energetic and who has a wealth of scriptural hearing, who is compassionate, and so forth. These 10 qualities is referring to the Mahayana spiritual guide. Then to the guru in his guise is a tantric teacher, tantric guru, according to Vajrayana. You are wise, patient, honest, without pretense or guile. Your 3 doors, your body, speech, and mind, are well subdued. You have both sets of 10 qualities, which are 2 different sets of 10 qualities according to Tantra that are at least necessary to be able to teach Tantra. You know mantra and Tantra and are skilled in drawing and explaining, drawing mandalas and so forth. Foremost Vajra holder, I make request to you. Then recalling the Guru's kindness. First, kinder than all the Buddhas. To those untamed by countless past Buddhas, the unruly transmigratory beings of this degenerate age who are difficult to subdue, as you well know if you read the newspapers, you accurately show the good way of those gone to bliss. Gone to bliss means Lama Chöpa, so one of the epithets of the Buddha, the Sugatas. Compassionate refuge savior, I make request to you. Thinking the Guru is even kinder than Shakyamuni Buddha. When the son of the Muni, Shak means Shakyamuni, sets because of the times, when the Dharma begins to degenerate, you enact the deeds of a conqueror for the many transmigratory beings who lack a refuge savior. Compassionate refuge savior, I make request to you. It's not as though this is going to change the Buddha's mind, like before the Buddha wasn't going to help, and then you request, and then he said, okay, I'll help. This helps to create virtue and the merit yourself to recognize the blessings of the Buddhas. Then even the Guru's family, animals, and so forth are higher objects of offering than all the Buddhas. Even one of your pores is for us a field of merit more highly praised than all the conquerors of the past, present, and future, abiding in all 10 directions. Compassionate refuge savior, I make request to you. When it says all the pores, that's referring to all of the, in essence, even his animals or her animals and children, household, horses, cows, are as though emanations from the pores of his or her body. Expressing the Guru's qualities, the outer qualities, adorned with the Sugata's 3 bodies and ornamental wheels, you manifest from an alluring net of skillful means in an ordinary form to lead all beings. Compassionate refuge savior, I make request to you. So outer, like the Guru, looking, having, spilling tea. Remember when we took ordination with Ling Rinpoche in Tushita many years ago, we offered some things to him. Rinpoche looked like he poured tea on his robes. Look, this was just the kindness of the Guru, taking that aspect, alluring net of skillful means. Also, when I offered some robes to him, he took them and took the aspect of the so much pleasure. Oh, this is so soft. Inner qualities, your aggregates, your elements, sources, and limbs are in nature the wisdom fathers and mothers of the 5 types of Sugatas, 5 Buddha families, bodhisattvas and wrathful protectors, supreme guru in the nature of the 3 sublime ones, the 3 jewels. I make request to you. Secret qualities arising from the play of omniscient transcendental wisdom. What does that mean? Play, Lila Vistara, the story of the Buddha's emanation from Tushita heaven to earth and so forth, sort of the play of wisdom, arising from the play of omniscient transcendental wisdom. You are the essence of 10 million mandala cycles, pervading Lord of 100 types of Buddhas, foremost Vajra holder, unified primordial savior. I make request to you. The qualities, the Buddha's emptiness of his mind and so forth, suchness qualities. Unobscured, inseparable from the play of simultaneous joy, pervading everything in motion and at rest, the nature of all things, free from beginning or end. Always good, Samanta Bhadra, actual ultimate bodhicitta, I make request to you. His Holiness, when he teaches this verse, he says sometimes, this explains, this is what the Guru actually is. Ultimate bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta means emptiness, the realization of emptiness held by a mind that has conventional bodhicitta. Having conventional bodhicitta, our gurus, when they are absorbed in the understanding of emptiness, that is called, and from that state, that's called ultimate bodhicitta, from which they emanate and pervade everything in motion and at rest. Then the special one-pointed request. Maybe we'll say this one time in Tibetan and then twice in English. Kyoni Lama, Kyoni Da, Kyoni Kandro Chokyong Te, Tengne Zung Te, Jang Chu Bard, Kyo Min Kyab Shen Mi So We, Di Dang Bardo, Chi Me Tayang, Tu Je Chag Yu Sung Su La, Si Shi Chitru, Mudru Kunso, Tengi Droksu Pachu Sun. You are the Guru, you are the Yidam, you are the Dakinis, the Dakas Dakinis and Dharma protectors. From right now until enlightenment, I will seek no other refuge than you. There's nothing else needed. In this life, the intermediate state, the bardo, and in all future lives, hold me with your hook of compassion. Free me from the fears of samsara and nirvana. Grant all attainments. Be my constant help and companion, like Manjushri to Lama Tsongkhapa, and guard me from all interferences. You, Guru, you are the Guru, you are the Yidam, you are the Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors. From now until enlightenment, I will seek no other refuge other than you. In this life, the bardo, and all future lives, hold me with your hook of compassion. Free me from the fears of samsara and nirvana. Grant all attainments. Be my constant companion and guard me from interferences. If you've received tantric initiations in the past and have done the retreats, done the following fire pujas, you can do elaborate empowerment, taking the self-entry into the mandala here, but here we take the blessings of the four empowerments. By the force of having thus requested 3 times, as we recited that first 3 times, nectar and light rays, white, red, and dark blue, stream forth by one and all together. First, body, speech, and mind, white, red, and blue, and then all together from the places of my guru's holy body, speech, and mind. So imagine white light coming to your crown chakra, purifying your body, equivalent to the vase initiation, purifying your speech, equivalent to the secret initiation, red light coming, blue light coming to your heart, equivalent to the wisdom gnosis initiation, and then all 3 coming, equivalent to the name initiation, filling your body and mind with bliss, remembering the Buddha nature. And they absorb one by one and all together in my own 3 places. The 4 obscurations are purified, the obscurations of body, speech, and mind, and the obscurations of all 3 together. The 4 empowerments are received, the vase, secret, knowledge, wisdom, and name empowerments are received. I achieve the 4 kayas and am blessed by a replica of the guru that happily absorbs into me. So at the end, imagine a replica of the guru in the visualized field in front, comes to the top of your head, faces the same direction you're facing, slowly descends down through your crown chakra, your throat chakra, to your heart chakra, and becomes one with your own mind and subtlemost winds and body. How are we doing? Okay. So now there are various places that the Tsog offering is given. You know what Tsog is, right? Tsog means assembly. Gana, we call it Gana chakra, Soki Korlo. So actual Gana chakra means when there are both dakas and dakinis. That's called Gana chakra. If it's just all men or just all women in the nunnery or all men in the monastery, it's just called Gana group. But if there's a circle of male and female, they're called Gana chakra. So this is a special kind of offering. Usually they're very, very rare the teachings are ever given about the meaning of Tsog, but all of the great tantric masters of the past considered it to be the highest kind of offering. So I presume on Jennifer's altar, there is some special substances. So first of all, blessing them. Om Am, Om Am, Om Am. Pure clouds of outer, inner, and secret offering substances pervade the reaches of space, earth, and sky, spreading out inconceivably. In nature, they are transcendental wisdom. In aspect, inner offerings and the individual offering substances. that function to generate special transcendental wisdom of bliss and emptiness while enjoying these offering substances enjoyed by the six senses. So let's do these verses in Tibetan. Ema ueshe ropache, shinkam tamche dorje shin, nenam dorje podangche, gunsang chotin yatsoba, longcho dugu peldang den, chunam pao pamongo, Madak Trupe Mingyang Me Dakpa Rabjam Bashigu. Meaning, in the emanation of your own transcendental wisdom, imagine that all the realms are actual Vajra realms, like the pure lands of the Buddhas. And all abodes, majestic Vajra palaces, oceans of clouds of Samantabhadras blazed forth. Samantabhadra's offerings is though you might emanate one lamp, and by the power of your mind, that lamp emanates two more lamps. Each of those emanate two more until all of space is filled with offerings. Or Samantabhadra, always good, means with understanding of the offerings being the nature of bliss and emptiness. Objects are endowed with every glory. All beings are actual dakas and dakinis. There is not even the word impurity or mistaken. All is infinitely pure. That's our starting point. Trukuneshi trukunang Lung Meo Shing Barwe Teng Migu Kepu Sungika Ascenden Tupa Kapala Zenam Soso Bawagyu Dedak Tengne Oma. So within the imagining your mind that you hold the divine pride of being Dharmakaya, where there is no mental fabrications, no thinking this or that. Above a turbulent wind and blazing fire, wind mandala and fire mandala, are three hearthstones of human heads. And from the syllable ah comes a human skull cup, and Om, each substance, brilliantly shines. Above them are the syllables Omahum. Katok ziji so so ba, lung yo me ba zenam shu, koe lang ba cher yo pe, iki sum leo zer so, chok chu tu pe dorje sum, Dutsi chenam chenang ne, soso yiki sum timpe, Dutsi shune chudang de, chang tok pache emao, dugu pelba kyatsu gyu, umau. Means each of the substances shines with brilliant colors. The wind mandala moves, the fire mandala blazes as a result of that. And as a result of that, the substances in the skull cup above it melt and boil. Vapor swirls up strongly, causing hosts of light rays to emanate from the three syllables that are above, Omahum. Into the 10 directions, drawing back the three Vajras, means the Vajra of body, speech, and mind of all the Buddhas, and nectar, which absorb into the respective syllables. They melt into nectar and blend with the essences that have melted in the skull cup. They are purified of all faults, transformed into nectar, and increased infinitely. Emaho is an expression of great bliss. Emaho. It becomes an ocean gleaming with the glory of everything desired. Omang, omang, omang. If you follow a little bit the visualization, imagine the Buddha experiences this with great bliss, without any attachment, the mind simultaneously bliss and emptiness experienced. So the invocation of the guests. To Je Dagni Sagyu Lama Dang Yidam Lasso Kyabne Oncho Sum Pao Kanro Chokyong Sume Tsog Chendan Chope Nadir Shek Suso. Lama Yeshi explained, we don't have to invoke, we don't have to invite the Buddhas. Their omniscient minds are omnipresent, omnipotent, but for our own sake, we imagine inviting them. We create karma in that way. It's called dependent arising. We create the dependent arising as though the deities are actually present in our visualization. We have that confidence. Root and lineage gurus in the nature of compassion, idams, hosts of deities, objects of refuge, the three rare sublime ones, heroes, dakinis, dakas dakinis, hosts of dharma protectors and guardians. I request you to come to this offering site. So all of these deities, all of these various names that were mentioned that are transcendental, that are actually emanations of Buddha, you don't have to invite them. They are already here, but saying this creates some special karma, like Jerusalem having a special blessing because of the events that took place there, or Fatima, or various places, Bodh Gaya. Chinang Sangwe Chutin Gyatso Urin Chen Ledru Sepe Tentila Shabsen Ucha Tenpa Shugne Kyang Drup Chok Dagla Dugu Mudrup So. Amidst an ocean of clouds of outer, inner, and secret offerings that we've previously visualized, on a beautiful throne made of precious jewels, firmly place your radiant feet. This is very honorific Tibetan language. Firmly place your radiant feet there, Supreme Siddha, Supreme Realized One, and grant me every desired attainment. And the actual offering of the Tsog, maybe we'll say in English. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering, of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, our concentration, mantra, the mantras we've said, like Om Ahum, and mudra, the various offering mudras, in order to please you, hosts of root and lineage gurus. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. When you say those syllables, imagine at that moment they're actually experiencing, although they're experiencing it all the time, the bliss that you have imagined, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Emaho, this expression of pleasure and bliss. Please let fall a great rain of blessings. So each of the subsequent verses are similar structure, changing the recipients and what the request at the end, what we requested. We request from the root and lineage gurus a rain of blessings upon our mind streams that we might make the realizations. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra, in order to please you, host of Yidam deities, along with your retinues. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying in abundance of all that is desired, Emaho, please let fall a great rain of attainments. So the request we make to the Yidams is that they would grant us siddhis, great, attainments of realizations. So somehow we've left out this special verse to Vajrayogini and Haruka, but that's okay because this is included, they're included amongst the Yidams. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra. I offer to please you, hosts of precious, rare, sublime ones, the triple gem. It means all the rest of the merit field. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying in abundance of all that is desired, Emaho, please let fall a great rain of holy Dharma. So to the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha, they are the ones that we're requesting to let fall a great rain of Saddharma, holy Dharma. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra, to please you, host of Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma protectors. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired, Emaho, please let fall a great rain of enlightened activities. So the enlightened activities of the Dharma protectors are, to protect us from harm, to bring about the actions of pacification and increase and power and wrath and so forth. And the enlightened activities of the Dakas and Dakinis are to bring about special uncontaminated bliss. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra, in order to please you, hosts, mother sentient beings. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired, Emaho, please pacify mistaken appearances and suffering. So really, like Shantideva says in Bodhisattva Charyavatara, who is more important, the Buddhas or sentient beings? Why do we pay special homage to the Buddhas, whereas we need the presence of all sentient beings in order to accumulate merit, to practice morality, to practice patience, to achieve Buddhahood? They're equally kind. So here we offer Tsog to all the sentient beings, and in the end, request that they pacify mistaken appearance of inherent existence and suffering. So we'll say more quickly this time, 2 more times, these same verses. We'll do once in Tibetan and once in English. O Tinzing Agdang Chage Jin Lape, Sagme Dutsi Sokchu Gyatsudi, Sagyu Lama Sognam Nechirbu, Omao, 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 Dugu Pela Rope Zimzene, Ema O Jin Lab Chachen Abtu So, O Tinzing Agdan Chage Jin Lape, Sagme Dutsi Sokcho Gyatsudi, Yiram Lasso Koche Nechebu, Omao, 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 Dugu Pela Rupe Zimzene, Ema Ho Moduk Chachen Abdu So. Muduk means cities. Please let fall a great rain of cities. O Tinzing Agdan Chage Jin Lape, Sagme Dutsi Sokcho Gyatsudi, Koncho Grinjin Sognam Nechebu, Omao, 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 Dugu Pela Rupe Zimzene, Emao Damcho Chachen Abdu So. To the triple gem, asking them to let fall a great rain of Dharma, holy Dharma. O Tinzing Agdan Chage Jin Lape, Sagme Dutsi Sokcho Gyatsudi, Kandro, Chokyo, Sognam, Nechebu, Omao, 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 Dugu Pela Rope Zimzene, Emao Tinle Chachen Abtu So. O Tinzing Agdan Chage Jin Lape, Sagme Dutsi Sokcho Gyatsudi, Margyur, Semchen, Sognam Nechebu, Omao, Omao, Omao. Imagine all sentient beings experiencing the blissful nectar that we have imagined. Dugu Pela Rope Simsene Emaho Trunang Dugnel Shigurche. And in English last time, oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra in order to please you, hosts of root and lineage gurus, you assembly of root and lineage gurus. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Emma, oh, please let rain a great fall of blessings. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra in order to please you, host of yidams, deities, along with your retinues. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by you're enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Emaho, please let fall a great rain of attainments, of cities. Oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi, my concentration, mantra, these words, Om Ahum and so forth, and mudra. I offer to please you, hosts of precious, rare, sublime ones, triple gem. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Aho, please let fall a great rain of holy Dharma. Ho, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra in order to please you, host of dakas, dakinis, and Dharma protectors. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Emaho, please let fall a great rain of enlightened activities. And finally, to all sentient beings, oh, I offer this ocean of Tsog offering of uncontaminated nectar, something that is experienced with great bliss without any contaminated desire or attachment and so forth, blessed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra, in order to please you, host of mother sentient beings. Om Aum, Om Aum. satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Aho, please pacify your mistaken appearances and suffering. And once we've offered to the assembly, we offer to the actual manifestation of the guru. If there is sometimes it may be someone sitting on the throne who is taking that burden to be the recipient. Sometimes it's actual master like Lama Chöpa, His Holiness, Geshe-Soga, other people. So this is first we request to the ritual master. So different ways. If there is someone sitting on the throne and someone is holding the offerings in front, they say this verse. If there is not that case, as here, you're just doing it yourself or in a small group without like a lama sitting on the throne or something, we say it together. Mao Soki Korloche Dusum de Shek Shek Shulte Mudru Malu Jungwe Deta Shene Baoche Namba Tope Sembone Soki Kolo Gyunru. Soki Korlo is this Ghana chakra. We have both dakas and dakinis here. Emaho, the great Tsog offering, path of the 3 times Sugatas, the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, is the source of all attainments. Understanding this great hero to whom we're offering, abandon all superstitious conceptions, always delight in this Tsog offering. Alalaho. And then if there's an actual master, they would recite this, but as there's not, we recite together. As though imagining this is what the guru, the Buddha, the center of the tree of assembled gurus is saying. Om Dorje Sumyer Me Peda Rang Ni Lama Larselme Asagme Yeshe Dutsidi Ungjang Chub Sem Leo Mepa Lune Lanam Sin Shiro. So here the guru is visualizing within their own body all of these deities of the body mandala. Om, I am inseparable from the 3 Vajras, the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and visualize myself as a Guru Yidam. This uncontaminated wisdom nectar, whom, without moving from bodhicitta, I enjoy to satisfy the deities within my body. Aho Mahasukha. You know what Aho Mahasukha? Mahasukha means great bliss, right? Aho, again, expression of great bliss. So, if you do have some offerings on your altar, you can partake of them now. If not, imagine. And some of the excess is put in a bowl. Do you have a little bowl to put the excess Sogin, Jennifer?
I can get one. Yes.
Yeah, while you're doing that. So it says, as the Tsog offering is being distributed, the dedications for the puja and names of puja sponsors can be read. So Snehi, here is an opportunity if you were going to recite them, or is someone else?
Jennifer's going to be reciting the dedications.
Okay.
Jennifer.
Yeah. Yes, I can do that. So for those who have passed away, for Rukmani Ramani, for Lou Minigiello and his family, including Marion and Janet, for Christian Piper, for Gus Kutz's grandmother, Bertha Kutz, for Ed Huff, Stephen Sondheim, Gordon Teagle, Jacqueline's cat Quinn, Sheena Kaur, Tom Griffin, Carly, Anastasia, her daughter, and her husband Carl, and for Michael Jeannie and their family, for Breck, and also for others who have requested, or for those we are praying for Sean Tanaka, for Stefan Pende, for Dr. Mina Faran, Mayra Ramirez, Gunjan Sharma, Amy Krantz, for Jacqueline Rossi, David Strevel, Peggy Einhorn, Genjam Spal, Stephanie Klein Albrandt, Ellen Sokolo, George Valchar, Geshe Tinley, Tulsi Rampersod, Lauren Cantor, Gigi Solomon, Christina Kewal, Sumati, Moonbi Bamfield, Elaine Rivers, Ben Bursley, Agam Ben Lavari, George Piet, obstacles to the Luwudo pilgrimage be removed, obstacles to the Light of the Path retreat with Lama Zopa Rinpoche to be removed, for friends at all Dharma centers around the world, for all the beings in the lower realms, for Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche to always have perfect health, be free of obstacles, for the success of all the undertakings of Shantideva Center, its benefactors and students, for your long life, Venerable George, and also for Shantideva to find the right volunteers to come help us create more merit and virtue in this world. And for anybody else, who has dedications, please feel free to unmute and say them aloud, or put in the chat area, or say silently to yourself.
Thank you. So
Janatashwa.
Sagan? Who said someone made another dedication? Susie, what did you say?
Janatashwa.
Janatashwa. And Amy Krantz was one of the friends, sort of patron over so many decades. When I had a need of a place in New York City, Diana Abramo had asked Amy, and Amy Krantz gave me her apartment for a couple of days when His Holiness was teaching. So I keep running across her every couple of years.
And I'd like to dedicate to Bill Kelly's good health and long life, and the removal of all obstacles to his health.
Thank you. So now traditionally, because this is the tantric part, special tantric offering, there are verses, Song of the Spring Queen, which was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa himself. So the Guru Puja was composed by the Panchen Lama, but this praise to the, tantric aspects, male and female consorts and so forth, was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa to bring about some special feeling. So let's do it in English. All Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you I request. Haruka, you who delight in great bliss, approach the bliss-intoxicated lady, and through enjoyment, according to the rite, enter into the union of innate bliss. I'm even imagining coming right now to do this. Ah la la, la la ho, Ariaraliho. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. All Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you I request, due to your mind being stirred by great bliss, your body completely sways and dance, thereby offer the great bliss of enjoying the mudras lotus to the host of yoginis. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. All Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you our request, dancing with enchanting, soothing grace, you delighted Lord and host of dakinis, abide before me and bless me. Please bestow innate great bliss upon me. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. Again, it's not as though that's going to change their mind requesting that. They love you and they will help, but you, by requesting that, you create the karma to recognize the blessings and their help and so forth. All Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you I request, possessing great bliss, the defining quality of liberation, you do not assert liberation in one lifetime through the many austerities that have abandoned great bliss. Great bliss, rather, abides in the center of the Supreme Lotus. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. All Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you our request. Supreme yogini, by the bliss of your lotus, born from attachment, but untainted by its faults, like a lotus growing in the midst of mud, quickly free me from the bondage of existence. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. And finally, all Tathagatas, heroes and yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you I request, just as swarms of bees always drink the essence of honey from its source, through the blossoming lotus possessing the 6 qualities, may I be satisfied by the taste from binding the essence. Host of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love and perform all activities. Then, because there are certain beings who were not invited to the Tsog, I don't mean your neighbors or something like that, but certain, what do we say? Oath-bound protectors and so forth, that are not transcendental beings, we offer the extra Tsog, what's left over. Do you have a little bowl with some of it in? Yeah. So just hold that up. So the different traditions mentioned in the text here, the person offering the remaining Tsog, there's one tradition that says should stand at the rear of the Gampa while facing the altar. That's what it says in the FPMT text. But the other traditions state that the person should stand at the front and face the back. So when His Holiness gave the Galwagazzo initiation in Italy at Istituto Lama Tsongkhapa many years ago, we had always stood at the back and faced the altar. His monks stood at the front and faced outside where the oath-bound protectors can't get in. And so we said, oh, you did it wrong. They said, no, this is the Dalai Lama's tradition. So after that, those of us who were there always followed that tradition, sort of with the hubris of thinking we're followers of the Dalai Lama. So we stand at the altar and face out, so that, you put into the picture there, Jennifer, you stand back with your back to the altar, You're not in the picture. There you go. Yeah, you're facing out. So imagine these oath-bound protectors out there. So the blessing, first of all, of the extra sok. Impure mistaken appearances are purified in the sphere of emptiness. This sublime nectar accomplished from transcendental wisdom, emanation of your wisdom. Om becomes a great ocean of all that is desired. Om. This ocean of remaining sok of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by samadhi mantra and mudra, in order to please you, hosts of oath-bound local protectors. Om. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all that is desired. Emaho, properly accomplish activities for us yogis, I guess for us yogis. So the remaining sok then you take outside. If you can't leave it in your hallway or outside, you can just bring it out and then bring it back in. And imagine that at that point, the oath-bound protectors that are not transcendental, not enlightened beings, enjoy that. Wait for Jennifer to get back. And now there's a prayer that's often recited here. Guests for the remainder, together with your retinues, all these oath-bound protectors, in accepting this ocean of remaining sok, make the precious teachings flourish, and make the upholders and patrons of the teachings, along with their retinues, and especially we yogins, means yogis and yoginis, gain health, long life, power and wealth, glory, fame, good fortune, and abundant enjoyments. Sort of like a little bit, tit for tat. We're giving you this sok, so you do something for the Dharma and for us. Bestow on us the attainments of the actions of pacification, increase, and so forth. Oath-bound protectors protect us and help us obtain all cities. Avert untimely death, sickness, spirits, and interferers. Eliminate bad dreams, bad omens, and bad activities. Make the world happy, the harvests abundant, crops, may there be a good harvest, the crops be abundant, dharma flourish, and all happiness and goodness occur, and all our wishes come about. By the force of this bountiful giving, may we spontaneously become Buddhas for the sake of transmigrating beings. Then by our generosity, may we liberate the multitudes of beings who were not liberated by the victorious ones, the conquerors of the past. Okay. How are you doing? Anyone need to break? We're almost finished. So now finally, after having made offerings, having done puja, so the 7 limbs are always to please the omniscient Buddha's minds. That's what puja means. It's not just the offerings. When we make prostration, they're pleased. When we make confession, they're pleased. When we rejoice and request them to turn the wheel of Dharma, it's not they're pleased because we're asking them, oh boy, I'm important. They're pleased because they know that we're eliminating obstacles to receiving the Dharma and so forth. So having done this, created all this merit, having received blessings of the tantric initiations and made all of these requests, now the last part is the glance meditation on the Lan Rim that we taught here at Shantideva Center several months ago, which you can still, if you find these words interesting, you can listen to that. Still up on YouTube, I think. So with each of these verses, imagine as you're saying, white light comes from the merit fields, having made all these offerings and requests, purifying your obstructions. Then yellow light comes, bringing you the blessings of inspiration to make these realizations. Supreme field of merit, my perfect, pure guru. through the power of having made offerings and respectful requests, I seek your blessings, Savior and very root of happiness and goodness, that I may come under your joyful guidance. Realizing how this body of freedoms and richness, this perfect human rebirth, is found but once, is difficult to obtain and is quickly lost, I seek your blessings to make it worthwhile and to take its essence without being distracted by the meaningless affairs of this life. These verses were composed by John and Alex, I think, many years ago. Still, when I ever read this first word here, the next verse, aghast at the searing blaze, I think of John. Aghast at the searing blaze of suffering in the lower realms, I take heartfelt refuge in the three rare sublime ones and seek your blessings that I may diligently strive to abandon all negative karma and accomplish the accumulation of every virtue. This is the verse talking about turning the mind first from an ordinary being toward thinking about happiness of future lives. Then for the person of intermediate scope, violently tossed amidst waves of karma and delusion, plagued by the many sea monsters of the three kinds of sufferings, I seek your blessings to develop an intense longing to be liberated from this infinite and frightening great ocean of existence. Imagine blessings of the Buddha coming, purifying the obscurations in your mind that prevent you from making those realizations, and then bringing the blessings to make you capable of making those realizations. Having abandoned a mind that views this unbearable prison of cyclic existence as a beautiful park, I seek your blessings to hold the three trainings as the treasure of the Arya's wealth, and thereby to uphold the victory banner of liberation. Then for the starting from the Mahayana point of view, having considered how all these miserable beings have been my mothers and have raised me with kindness again and again, I seek your blessings to develop effortless compassion like that of a loving mother for her precious child. Then the method of exchanging self and others for equanimity. There is no difference between myself and others. None of us wishes even the slightest suffering or is ever content with the happiness we have. Realizing this, I seek your blessings that I may generate joy in the happiness of others. So this is what I was referring to when we're talking about rejoicing, which is not seven-limb rejoicing. This is rejoicing, which is actually great love. Generate joy in the happiness of others. If you generate joy in the karma that created their happiness, their actions of the past, that becomes rejoicing of the seven limbs. This chronic disease of self-cherishing is the cause giving rise to all unsought suffering. Perceiving this, I seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and destroy this monstrous demon of selfishness. This is talking about the defects, shortcomings in the self-cherishing thought. The mind that cherishes my mothers, all sentient beings, thinking of them in their kindness aspect, and would place them in bliss. That mind that cherishes mothers and would place them in bliss is the gateway leading to infinite qualities. Seeing this, I seek your blessings to cherish these migrating beings more than my life, even should they rise up as my enemies. When you think of the Jataka tales, the life stories of the Buddha, people abusing him in so many lifetimes as a bodhisattva, but always working for their ultimate benefit, even when they thought of themselves as his enemy, tried to harm him. Then exchanging self and others. In brief, childish beings, infantile beings labor only for their own ends. while the able ones, the munis, like the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, work solely for the welfare of others, with a mind understanding the distinctions between the failings of one, cherishing oneself, and the advantages of the other, that is working only for others. I seek your blessings to enable me to equalize and exchange myself and others. Cherishing myself is the doorway to all loss, while cherishing mothers is the foundation of all qualities. Hence, I seek your blessings to make my heart practice the yoga of exchanging self, myself, and others. So think at some point in our practice, that will become our main practice. Maybe right now, our main practice is watching the breathing or generating renunciation or bodhicitta or something. Here, or thinking about wisdom, here it says, my heart practice at a certain point would be the yoga of exchanging self and others, that I always consider from the other person's point of view first. Looking at myself as an interloper, the beggar, thinking, that guy, that monk walking there, he's got money, he could give me something, and putting yourself in their position. This is the next verse is the famous verse that's recited 3 times. So we will do it once in Tibetan and then twice in English. This originally had 4 lines, and one of the great Rinpoches at the time of the Panchen Lama made a request, could you add this extra line because it's so important, and the Panchen Lama accepted that. Dena Jesun Lama Tukje Chen Magyu Droe Digdib Dugnel Kun Malu Tanda Dagla Minbadang Dagi Dege Shenla Tangwai Trokun Dedang Demba Chingiro, which means, and thus, perfect, compassionate Guru, I seek your blessings that all negative karmas, obscurations, and suffering of mother transmigratory beings may, without exception, ripen upon me right now, and that by giving my happiness and virtue, which also includes your karma and abodes and other things, to others, may all transmigratory beings experience happiness. And thus, perfect, pure, compassionate Guru, I seek your blessings that all negative karmas, obscurations, and sufferings of mothers, transmigratory beings, ripen upon me right now without exception, and that by giving my happiness and virtue to others, all transmigratory beings may they experience happiness. This is what we call tonglen, giving and taking on the sufferings of sentient beings and giving away your body, your virtues of the past, present, and future, your possessions, power, abodes, and everything.
What was the line that was added?
The first line.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Originally, it was just Magyar Droe Digdeb Kunel Kun Malu Tada Mingpadan. So to give it more solemnity and as more of a request, from the very first line, there's a request in the end where it says, I request you, grant me blessings that I could give this to sentient beings, happiness to others. But at the very beginning, Dena Jesun Lama Tukje Chen. So Tukje Chen means compassionate, having compassion. Tukje means compassion. Dena means so thus, having thought about all these other things, the defects of self-cherishing, the advantages of cherishing others and so forth. Dena, then Jesun, perfect, pure, compassionate Guru, grant me blessings to be able to do Tonglen. Then we talk about the 7-point mind training, these verses, as was explained in the course that we had previously, these are talking about these other points. Even when the environment and beings are filled with the fruits of negative karma, and unwished for suffering pours down like rain. Sound familiar? I seek your blessings to take these miserable conditions as a path by seeing them as causes, or you could say opportunities, to exhaust the results of my negative karma. So this is very, very essential point, how to transform adverse conditions. When everything is going to garbage, undesired suffering falls like rain. Pandemic, insurrections, everything. Imagining yourself in the sense of Tonglen, taking on not only your own suffering, but all of these conditions, and therefore transforming this opportunity where you could get depressed and feel there's nothing that can be done. You actually have a chance to transform that into the path of a bodhisattva, transforming adverse conditions into the path. In short, no matter what appearances arise, be they good or bad, I seek your blessings to transform them into a path, increasing the 2 bodhicittas, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, the wisdom that realizes emptiness, through the practice of the 5 powers, the quintessence of the entire Dharma, and thus to cultivate only mental happiness, or in other words, you could say, and thus to familiarize solely with happiness, always happy, whatever happens. I seek your blessings that I may relate everything I meet to meditation through the skillful means possessing the 4 practices, and that I may make this life of freedoms and richnesses greatly meaningful through practicing the commitments and precepts of the mind training, thought transformation. As Lama Yeshe said in the 7th course when he came back, I think, John, you were there. Maybe Sharon was too. I don't know if she's gone to. He said the person in America that he felt had made the most progress from he'd come to Kopan and went back to America. When Lama visited America, he said the person who worked in a grocery store and put cans on the shelves thinking, may I set sentient beings in happiness, or when he swept the floor, may I clean away the negativities in the minds of sentient beings. So that's, using these commitments and precepts of thought transformation in everyday life. In order to rescue all transmigratory beings from the vast seas of existence, I seek your blessings to train only in bodhicitta, actually, Jangchub Semni Jongbar Jingi Lob can also mean train in actual bodhicitta. In order to rescue all transmigratory beings from the vast seas, vast ocean of existence, I seek your blessings to train in fully qualified bodhicitta through love, compassion, and the special attitude or universal responsibility, conjoined with the technique of mounting, taking and giving upon the breath. So taking on the suffering of sentient beings when you breathe in, breathing out all of your happiness and virtues and body and possessions and abodes. Finally, you come to the point where you do one with compassion, one with love, and then you realize at the end, you haven't changed anything. And then you develop this special attitude. Therefore, I must achieve enlightenment. I must do it by myself. And as a result of that, you're on the brink of developing fully qualified bodhicitta. I seek your blessings that I may eagerly endeavor to put into practice the 3 Mahayana moral codes and to restrain my mind stream with the pure vows of the conqueror's offspring, sons and daughters, the single path journeyed by all the conquerors of the 3 times. And the 6 perfections, I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of generosity. We can start now through the guideline teaching for increasing the mind that gives without attachment, namely transforming my body, wealth, and merits of virtue of the 3 times into the objects desired by each and every sentient being. Morality, I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of morality by not transgressing the boundaries, the bounds of pratimoksha vows, the monastic and lay vows, the bodhisattva vows and the tantric vows, even at the cost of my life. Accumulating, that's one of the more moral codes, guarding from negativity, accumulating virtuous qualities, which means accumulating virtues and knowledge and so forth, and accomplishing the purpose of sentient beings, benefiting sentient beings. Should even the beings of the 3 realms, without exception, become angry at me, humiliate, criticize, threaten, or even kill me, I seek your blessings not to be agitated, but to complete the perfection of patience that works for their benefit in response to their harm. As Geshe Repton said, when he was at Sarah, sometimes the other monks would, because he was so great scholar, so successful, envied by so many people, some people were envious and they would try to talk about him and criticize him. When he heard that, he invited them to his humble abode and offered them momos. So the perfection of patience that works for their benefit in response to their harm, instead of feeling resentment or harming them in return, offered them momos. If you know what momos are, you'll understand. And joyous effort, even if I must remain for an ocean of eons in the fiery hell of Avicii for the sake of even one sentient being, I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of joyous effort that out of compassion untiringly strives for supreme enlightenment. Then the perfection of dhyana, not dhyana, dhyana, which means meditation or concentration. Having abandoned the faults of sinking, excitement, and distraction, I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of firm contemplation, dhyana, through the samadhi of single-pointed placement upon the nature of reality of all phenomena, their lack of true existence. Then of the perfection of wisdom, first the space-like. I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of wisdom through the space-like yoga of single-minded placement upon ultimate truth, conjoined with mental and physical pliancy and great bliss induced by discriminating wisdom, analyzing suchness. And in the post-meditation, I seek your blessings to perfect the samadhi on illusion by realizing how outer and inner phenomena lack true existence, but still appear like an illusion, a dream, or the image of a moon on a still lake. And then the particular view of Nagarjuna, pure view of the profound middle way, Madhyamaka. Samsara and nirvana lack even an atom of inherent existence, yet cause and effect and dependent arising are unbetraying. I seek your blessings to discern the meaning of Nagarjuna's thought, that these two are mutually complementary and not contradictory. Then the tantric path, then crossing the depths of the ocean of tantras through the kindness of my captain, my leader, Vajradhara, my guru, I seek your blessings that I may hold my vows and commitments, the root of all attainments, siddhis, keeping these vows dearer than my life. Generation stage, I seek your blessings that whatever appears may arise as the deity, having cleansed all stains of ordinary appearance and grasping, with the first stage yoga of transforming birth, death, and bardo, intermediate state, into the three bodies of a conqueror. The completion stage of yoga, highest yoga tantra, I seek your blessings to actualize in this life the path unifying clear light in the illusory body, which arises from placing your feet, my savior, my guru, on the 8 petals of my heart chakra at the very center of my central channel. Then transference of consciousness, Poa, if my time of death comes before I've completed the points of the path, so I haven't completed clear light and unification, I seek your blessings that I may be led to a pure land through the instructions for correctly applying the 5 powers, or the guru's transference of consciousness, the forceful means to enlightenment. Praying to be guided by the guru in all future lives. In short, I seek your blessings, my savior, to be guided by you from birth inseparably throughout all my lives, and thus to become your main disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. Savior, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. So like Shariputra was foremost of the Buddha's first close disciples, foremost in wisdom. Mahayana was foremost in psychic powers. Kashyapya was foremost in ascetic practices and so forth. So may I be foremost among your very first circle of disciples. Then, very important, imagine all of the assembly of deities absorbed sequentially into one another, into the central deity of Lama Tsongkhapa, who comes then to the crown of your head, faces the same direction your faces, just the size of your thumb, and to bless you, descends down your central channel from the crown chakra to the throat chakra to the heart chakra, becoming unified with your mind. Having thus been entreated, Supreme Guru, please grant this request so that you may bless me, hapfully come to the crown of my head, and once again set your radiant feet firmly at the corolla of my heart lotus. Then dedication, completing practices. Whatever white virtues were thus created, we dedicate as causes enabling us to uphold the holy dharma of scripture and realization, and to fulfill without exception the prayers and deeds of all the Tathagatas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times. How wonderful that would be if, due to these merits, we were be able to uphold the scriptural and realizational dharma, like Lama Chöpa, scriptural, upholding the scriptures by receiving all those oral transmissions and transmitting them to others, realizational by keeping the vows and making realizations, and to fulfill all the prayers and deeds of the Tathagatas and Bodhisattvas. By the force of this merit, may we never be parted in all our lives from Mahayana's 4 wheels, and may we reach the end of our journey along the paths of renunciation, bodhicitta, the right view of emptiness, as well as the 2 stages of highest yoga tantra. Sort of like having all of the important points of dedication. And then when you do Tsog, there's also these verses of auspiciousness. through the quality of whatever white virtues there are in samsara and nirvana, may all be auspicious for us to be free here and now from all misfortune and loss, and thus to enjoy a glorious and perfect celestial treasure of temporal and ultimate virtue and goodness. So wishing also that whatever virtues there are in samsara and nirvana and our own virtues, all of this chaos that's going on now, heading into the age of the 5 degenerations, may it all be paused. May it be auspicious for us to be free here and now from all misfortune and loss, all sentient beings. May all be auspicious for the Buddha's teachings to remain long through your centers of Dharma, omniscient Losang Drakpa, that's the ordination name of Lama Tsongkhapa, being filled with hosts of renunciates, yogis and yoginis, striving single-pointedly to master the 3 pure trainings, training in higher training in morality, in concentration, and in wisdom. Having received your blessings, Losang Drakpa, who from the time of your youth made request to the Supreme Guru Deity, may there be the auspiciousness of Losang Vajradhara, who spontaneously accomplishes the purpose of others. May all be auspicious for all our desired endowments to swell like a lake in the summer rains, bringing an unbroken flow of rebirths of leisure in faultless families, so that we may pass our days and nights with your holy Dharma, Losang, and thus delight in the glories of perfection. By the collection of whatever virtues I and others have done and will do from now until enlightenment, may all be auspicious, holy, perfect, pure ones, for your body of form to remain in this land, immutable like a Vajra. Usually on this day, this Ganden Namcho, Lama Tsongkhapa's special day, at the end, all during the time there are lights that are lit. Some of you have lights, and we recite the Lama Tsongkhapa's mantra. Here we have the 5-line mantra. Sometimes there's 9-line mantra, there's a 4-line mantra, there's 12-line, different. This is most common. So I'll say once in English, and then we can recite for a little while in Tibetan. Avalokiteshvara. So this is referring to Lama Tsongkhapa. Your speech is Avalokiteshvara, the great treasure of non-referential compassion. Your body is Manjushri, Lord of stainless wisdom. Your mind is Vajrapani, destroyer of the mass of Maras. Tsongkhapa, crown ornament of the scholars of Tibet. At the feet of Losang Drakpa, that was his ordination name, I make request. Mig me se wei te chen chen rezi di me kenpe wang po jam pe yang du pung malu jom ze sang we dan gang chen kepe Sugen Tsongkhapa Losang Drakpa Shabla Soa Den. So we'll finish here. There may be some other prayers or statements that needed to be said by Jennifer or Snehi. Thank you so much for attending. Went over 20 minutes from our 9 o'clock. When I studied with Geshe Zopa in Wisconsin, Lama Tsongkhapa's texts, Gompo Rapsel, his teaching on the Majjhima and Drangne Lekshe Ningpo, his teachings on the interpretive and definitive sutras, and even the Rikpe Gyatso, the Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary on Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom. Incredible devotion in Lama Tsongkhapa, the clarity, the brilliance arose in me. So it's a great pleasure and honor to be able to do this. Right. So thank you all.
Thank you, George.
Are there any other things you need to say, Snehi or Jennifer or anyone else?
No, I mean, the only thing we often do are the dedication, the long life prayers for.
Yes, let's do that. So if you could put those up on the screen, I don't have them personally here.
I will do that. One
Thank
moment.
you. Sure, take your time. All the old gang here. Robin and Jackie and John. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wish granting, wish fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serves as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. Lama Chöpa Rinpoche. Okay.
So much.
Thank you very much. So thanks again for coming, and maybe sometime I'll have to talk to Snehi in January or February or March. I don't know. Sometime, hopefully in the future, we will have a chance to join again and talk about the practice of emptiness, a text that Jeffrey Hopkins translated from the I think Sacred Words of Manjushri many years ago with Geshe Repton. It was be sort of like a good, in-depth understanding of emptiness, but it's right now I'm just still recovering from, I just had my 45th radiation treatment for prostate cancer today. And then they gave a certificate and rang a bell, praising, they gave me a Twinkie, Hostess Twinkie. But then the nurse told me, oh, the urine test you took yesterday came back positive. You need another course of Cipro, which is what they use to treat anthrax. So hopefully I'll be in better shape in a couple more weeks or a month or so. So thank you so much.
We appreciate your joyous effort under your circumstances. Hope you feel better.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Thank
George.
you so much, Venerable George.
Long, thank you, George.
See you.
Thank you
Bye,
so
John.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for everybody who made this happen for us so far away. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. See you next year.
Bye.
Bye, John. I'll be in touch.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well.